So here's the Air Force again, once more doing questionable things during this really awful time that we're dealing with Trump and, his authoritarianism slash wannabe dictator. So apparently Air Force bid for Tesla Cybertrucks and target practice symbolizes the evolving, that's a nice little word for it, relationship between the Pentagon and Big Tech, expert says. So these Cybertrucks have been known to be very dangerous, and I think we already talked about this, how the military was going to try to use the Cybertrucks in war or whatever because it's supposed to be quote unquote built like a tank. I feel like it's just another reason to give Elon Musk more money because the Cybertrucks are shit, they're crap. There's numerous videos with people talking about how dangerous these trucks are, how badly they've been built, and it's disgraceful that Elon Musk can come in and destroy our government and just do whatever he wants, this fucking foreign South African, and then go on to continue to get government contracts that are paid by our tax dollars. Like, it's the racism knows no bounds. The fascism, the neo-Nazism, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's knows no fucking limit. And I feel like white people don't really care because I feel like they could stop this. And I hope that I've seen more people more afraid than anything else, and I need people to be angry. Fear is not going to do anything for anybody. I need you to be angry. And I need people to make sure that this is never forgotten. All of the shit that happens, I want everyone fucking held accountable. The Republicans, MAGA, Elon Musk, Trump, you name it. Everybody that was on this side of capitulating, Target, Walmart, even Apple, Tim Cook giving Trump a gold bar in the White House looking stupid. Everyone, Columbia, you name it, ABC, everyone that bowed down to this wannabe orange king needs to be punished. They need to have sanctions or whatever and fines, etc. because this should never be able to happen again. If they ever had put me in power, I would make sure all these people pay, including Trump. Even if Trump dies, his family would still be paying a settlement, and they would be giving back all the fucking money that he stole from the American people. I will go after him as ruthlessly as he goes after his critics or his opponents or his quote unquote enemies, who usually are the ones doing their job while Trump is being a whole criminal. He's just a vile creature, and I will make sure that he would pay. I don't care if he's alive or dead. So the U.S. Air Force is trying to acquire Tesla Cybertrucks to use as missile targets in battlefield training, according to recent filings. So they're literally just purchasing it just to blow them up. That's what it sounds like, and that's crazy. You're just giving money away at this point while we are battling homelessness, and you're taking away Medicaid and SNAP and all these social programs that we pay for that American people need. You're taking all that from us, but yet you have money to buy these ugly ass Cybertrucks just to blow them up. That's stupid, and it's a waste and fraud and abuse of power. So the military's invocation of the Tesla brand is emblematic of the tightening relationship not only between the Pentagon and Elon Musk, but with Big Tech more broadly, according to American University foreign policy professor Gordon Adams. And I don't even care that it's with Big Tech. It's obviously we should be moving towards the future and technology. My background is in IT, so that would be hypocritical of me to be oh, they shouldn't be using technology. I actually want them to. It's supposed to be making things more affordable when you use technology, and just more efficient and more accurate and just better all around. But I feel like the use of technology in this corrupt country is constantly being used against the American people instead of for it to enhance our lives. That's what I have a problem with, is it's not ever used in a proper way to help black people, of course, but American people. It doesn't help American people's lives get any better. And if anything, technology is constantly being used against us to harm the American people, and that's what I have a problem with. So they said, but while the vehicles in this context are meant to be destroyed, the Air Force seeking out the Tesla brand is just another example of how Big Tech and the Department of Defense have become unlikely bedfellows, one defense spending expert said. The U.S. Air Force Material Command, part of the Department of Defense, is looking to acquire 2 Cybertrucks for target vehicle training flight test events, according to documents filed to the System for Award Management. On Wednesday, the Air Force is also seeking out 31 other vehicles, including sedans and bungo trucks, to similarly likely use as missile targets. Enemies may likely transition to using vehicles like Cybertrucks, which are more resistant to certain types of damages, according to the filings. Testing needs to mirror real-world situations, one document said. The intent of the training is to prep the units for operations by simulating scenarios as closely as possible to the real-world situations, which of course all that makes sense now. Is making a little bit more sense to me. I do not care that I jumped the gun. I'm reading this for the first time with you all, so this is a reactionary video. I don't feel bad that I jumped the gun because I keep seeing Air Force doing some very suspect things, like removing the Tuskegee Airmen from their history books. Like, how the fuck are you removing that from your history books and your Air Force teaching history to the new recruits? You're not going to get anywhere in your life. This country is not going to be great anywhere, anytime, ever, whenever you remove Black history from your books. Because the bottom line is, Black history is American history. Without Black people, there would be no America. Point blank, period. So that's why I immediately, when I saw this, I assumed, and they probably knew this, that's why they put it up there that way, because they're obviously getting other vehicles as well. And I understand them having to do simulations and tests before they go to war. That makes sense to me. So now I am definitely looking at this very differently, but I don't care. Air Force still has done some very awful things already under Trump in his last 7 months or 8 months. Every time I turn around, they're doing some suspect shit. So I think they also, like, I want to say it was West Point, I can't remember, but they were removing books that you already know what they're Black, most likely a Black history and other things, of great things that our people have done in this country. It's like, we're trying to erase it, we're trying to hide it, we're trying to whitewash it, the usual. And that really pisses me off, really makes me angry. Like, people may not care because people don't read anymore, or people have been dumbed down and they're just stupid. I care, and I know a lot of people who care. I grew up reading a lot, and of course, as you can see, I'm still reading, but it just makes me so mad. It makes me so mad, and I will fight to the end. Just like with CRT, reparations, I will say it till I'm blue in the face, and like a broken record. I'm going to always talk about it. I'm always going to bring light to it, and I'm never going to stop talking about it. Citing market until we get it. Even after we get it, I'm still going to talk about it. So, citing market research conducted in February by a redacted source, one document said Tesla Cybertrucks are specifically called for in this type of battleground testing because of its aggressively angular and futuristic design, paired with its unpainted stainless steel exoskeleton that differentiates it from other models. The vehicles do not need to be fully operational, but rather be intact and able to move on their wheels, per the document. According to Gordon Adams, a professor of U.S. foreign policy at... Wait, what did it say? At fully operational. According to Gordon Adams, so they can literally get that from like the junkyard or something. Okay, sorry, I had to say it. According to Gordon Adams, a professor of U.S. foreign policy at American University who researches defense spending, the Air Force's decision to pursue Tesla vehicles for battlefield training is in isolation of little consequence, but it is indicative of the growing ties between the U.S. military and private, and like they're making it a bit greater deal than it needs to be. They always use private sector tech. Like when I was in the military, my background, like I said, is IT. We use Microsoft on all the computers. You use Amazon for the cloud services, like later on. This has been happening forever, so that's neither here nor there. Like, that's just what they're doing, and I don't see an issue with that, because of course if they're getting other vehicles too, then what's the relationship with private car companies and so on and so forth. Like, the government is always contracted out for a lot of different products, and I literally also worked over the system for government contracting, so it was called a standard procurement system, SPS, and I maintained it for a couple of years, and first Black person and first Black woman to do that job in that, is in my where I was working at. So that's not an issue to me either. I feel like they're kind of like making it a bigger deal than it has to be, just to kind of have clickbait or rage bait. But I'm just giving my true analysis, and you all know I go for the jugular. So if I felt for a second that this was being racist or whatever, I will call it out. This is really not. This is kind of like, I hate this term, but it's a nothing burger. That's basically what it is. It's really nothing to be writing home about. So at one level, I don't see it as terribly unusual for them to seek to use a Tesla truck as a target set, Adams told Fortune. At another level, I find it symbolic of an evolving relationship between, in general, the high-tech sector and the Department of Defense. There is no such thing as a high-tech sector. They're literally military. They're basically just using the products that are available to them to get the job done, because nobody wrote home when, they were using Bill Gates's Microsoft to put on all the computers all over the military. So I feel like people are also, smarting of this situation because it's Elon Musk, and he is just such a controversial character. Most of us hate him all around the world. So I do feel like people might be feeling some type of way, like we should not be rewarding him with more contracts. But As they described for those vehicles, they don't have to get the newest, greatest Tesla. They said it doesn't have to be fully operational. You just need to be able to kind of drive forward or whatever. So you can get that from like a junkyard or impound or something. So I have no doubt that this is something of the camel's nose under the tent with respect to the relationship between DoD and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, and his businesses, of which there are many connections, he added. The Air Force and Tesla did not respond to Forge's request for comment. Indeed, the Air Force's interest in Cybertrucks is far from the first time the U.S. Department of Defense has taken an interest in one of Musk's projects. His companies have received billions of dollars in government contracts, including $22 billion in deals with SpaceX to provide launch services to the Pentagon, as well as for Starlink to provide satellite-based connectivity to the Defense Department in certain remote locations and support for military operations in Ukraine, which that does anger me that he received all that money. Like, if he received that money, he was doing a good job with his companies, like whatever we were contracting out for. If it served his purpose well for the American people, and it was, he was doing a great job with that and not destroying our government in the process, like, I would not have an issue with it. Maybe also making sure we get the best price. But a lot of times with these defense contractors or federal contractors or whatever, they are usually the only, like, it's very proprietary, and they're usually the only ones that can create whatever system it is. So they mark up the price, and a lot of times the military is not going to, the government's not going to pay it. They make their own prices. But I feel like with Elon Musk, he's just gotten over like a fat rat, and it just disgusts me that he's essentially a billionaire because of taxpayer dollars. But then they'll turn around and hate on like homeless people, which again is not lost to me that today they're activating the National Guard, and I feel like they're going to mostly be targeting homeless people. And Trump even, fixed his ugly face to say that he's not creating affordable housing or he hates it or something. And it's like, so where people are supposed to be living? And it's just, again, attack on the American people because he thinks he's more important and his rich friends are very important, and they're not. Because I don't see what they're doing for the country that's so wonderful. Like, they are not America's backbone. They're not what makes America go round. They are they're grifters, they are leeches, and they're thieves. And America would be a greater place without them here. They can be in prison or under the ground. I really could care less. Wherever they are, they could be exiled to Alcatraz, somewhere in an island far away from here. I could care less. I don't care where they go. I don't think that the country would suffer if Trump was no longer in it. In fact, not only will we not suffer, but we'd be the better for it. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, that's just what it is. So a whole new sector of militarized tech. Musk's own government contracts are just a slice of the deals the Defense Department is making with tech companies, including the Peter Thiel-founded Palantir, which surpassed $1 billion in quarterly revenue for the first time this week, in part thanks to its largest contract to date, a 10-year, $10 billion software deal with the U.S. Army. Isn't that fun? So again, giving away our money, our tax dollars, to these racists, these fascists. Like, I don't feel that America should be doing business with people who are knowingly acting like neo-Nazis and, harming the American people. I think is very disgusting, and that it should be against the law. And of course, America's not going to do it. They never do anything right, and then we wonder why we're struggling right now, looking crazy. Last month, OpenAI won a $200 million contract. With the Pentagon to use AI capabilities to address security challenges in both warfighting and enterprise domains, the Defense Department said. The Pentagon's contracts with the private sector make up more than half of the government's total contracts, swelling in fiscal 2024 to $445 billion out of $755 billion in obligations, according to Government Accountability Office data. The floodgates of military funding for private tech opened about 10 years ago when the Obama administration pushed for initiatives between the Pentagon and private sector, including a quote-unquote people bridge, encouraging tech sector innovators to temporarily work on projects at the Department of Defense. Previously, private tech companies eschewed work with the government, believing it too bureaucratic and not profitable enough, Adams said. But after years of wooing Silicon Valley, I'm disgusted. Instead of wooing, you should be worrying about educating children so everyone has this knowledge. You don't have to woo after these same 2-3 people that's already fucking richer than they ever deserved. The Defense Department's interest became requited, with companies like Amazon seeing opportunities to replace the government's hodgepodge data centers with cloud computing, for which the Pentagon was offering a $10 billion contract prize in 2019. Under the Trump administration, these relationships have only deepened. The president's big ugly bill contains a $150 billion bump in defense spending, a mouth-watering prospect for several agencies within the Defense Department actively testing use cases for AI tools from tech giants like Meta, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Mistral, as well as from startups like Gladstone AI and Scale AI, Fortune reported last year. The enmeshing of big tech and the Pentagon is unlikely to unravel anytime soon, as the ballooning demand from the military for innovative technology creates a whole new sector, Adam said. And they need all this like cutting edge, more tech, but they don't barely teach it in school. So it's like only a select few get to get this education, the coding and whatever else you need to learn for IT, and go on to get these startups and seed money and just going to become billionaires. And we all know who the group of people are going to be. We're going full bore into the privatization of technology through the Defense Department, using the high-tech capabilities of companies like Apple and Microsoft, Palantir, and other contractors, including Elon Musk operations. So it's a process which is very much now out of control, he added. If you wanted to put the brakes on technology developments and take a close look at them under this political situation, the distribution of power between Republicans and Democrats, that's really not going to happen. The door is pretty open to the interpenetration of high tech and the Defense Department. This story was originally featured on Fortune.com. Let's go into the comments really quickly just to see what people are talking about. So they said, while the premise seems to be logical, giving any of Musk's business money or contract is a slap in the face to all the loyal, hardworking federal employees whose lives he ruined. Correct. An authoritarian state with a symbolic relationship between government and big business coupled with an ethno-national ideology is defined as what, boys and girls? Well, considering Tesla can brick the Cybertruck or any of their vehicles remotely, this is just an excuse to funnel money to the wealthy. Exactly. Why would you spend $100,000 to blow it up? The sheer waste of our government. Buy a cheaper vehicle if you're going to just use it as target practice. Also, it's not a real-world example of most things are not that fast. I don't even think it's fast. Blowing up those batteries will create tons of novel chemicals. The variety depends on which if they're using. A university professor has just discovered that the military has a relationship with technology, describing them as unlikely bedfellows. Words fail me. Couldn't the Air Force go to a junkyard and get targets for free? Exactly. Cybertrucks are pretty expensive if you're just going to destroy them. Exactly. And of course, you got two thumbs down because people want to, the racists want us to have to give money to Elon Musk, squarehead ass. So TDS, Trump dollar syndrome, is going to lead to the Pentagon overpaying for Musk's unsellable junk trucks for target practice. And just who is going to pay for that? Taxpayers. No bids, no logic, just good old American bribery. Art of the steal. Yep. Further proof of the fight between Trump and election hacker Musk was just for show. Also, we all know the Cybertrucks are a joke. Is this to help the Joker unload of the unwanted failing trucks? Yeah, because he's not going to sell them. He's not going to sell them to regular people, and of course there's two dislikes of the races. So Elon can get rid of the dead Cybertruck stock sitting in his warehouses. A rich man creates a product that no one wanted, and now the government uses our tax dollars to cover for his expenses. That's classic capitalism with lobbying and racism, I think. Like when other people's companies go down, even the farmers, white people, etc., the poor people, because we didn't get the luxury of government subsidies, I don't see anyone bailing us out, but they can bail out Elon Musk. They want Cybertrucks to show real world conditions. I really don't see many of this vehicle in the real world. If you want real world, they should be buying Kias, Chevy trucks, Toyotas, and Hondas, which can probably get for less than a tenth of the price. Give the military money, and they find the most expensive and ridiculous way to spend it, and that is correct. They waste a lot of fucking money. That's waste, fraud, and abuse is in the DOD, the Pentagon, and of course that's the one place that squarehead ass Elon Musk didn't take his ass to look at waste, fraud, and abuse was the Pentagon, the DOD, the Department of Defense, military. There is so much waste. I can tell you now, I served 4.5 years, and it just, looking at the receipts of things and how much stuff costs is disgusting. And then of course I worked in government contracts later after I got out, and very wasteful for Department of Defense. So they said this just symbolizes the Trump administration and GOP corruption. While almost every Cybertruck I've ever seen, and in my neighborhood we see quite a few, is ugly enough to deserve a Hellfire missile up the tailpipe, the DOD would be better served by destroying a target of plywood and cheap metal cladding, probably less than $500, rather than a $100,000 Cybertruck. But moneyed interests must be served. Thank you. This person said corporate welfare. The Air Force doesn't need new Cybertrucks to blow up. No one's buying them, so in comes daddy government with a helping hand. Exactly. This person is saying, of course, like there's three people like, oh, they want to cry. It's like, yeah, deal with the racists. Everyone's on to you. I'm really happy about these comments. I thought they were going to be full of racists saying stupid things and fascists and neo-Nazis saying like, oh, it's great, we love Elon, let's slurp Elon Musk, who doesn't give a shit about us. Even as an utter commercial failure, Elon gets his taxpayer dollars. Exactly. And a criminal, because what are you doing? Firing everyone. Banks do not want to work with people that don't pay their bills. Just wait until all of these hospitals in these rural areas get shut down. Wowzers. What a joke of an administration. This is going to get worse and worse. This is just the beginning. The economy is heading towards recession. If it is not already in one, companies are not hiring. Yeah, not only are they not hiring, they're actually laying people off, like hundreds of thousands of people off per company. The tariff take time to work through, and Fed Chairman Powell is spot on with Trumpflation. The job numbers were the worst they have been in years. Consumer sentiment is at the worst level since the 80s. Trumpy go and fires the head of the BLS, who has a doctorate degree in econ and does not handle the data. The numbers are the numbers. There is no way to fudge those. What a joke of an economic policy. I cannot believe the mind-boggling moves this administration is making. Going to absolutely crush small businesses, going to get worse and worse. Make sure you have at least 6 months of savings in cash. Going to be an ugly ride. How are we going to get that when people can barely pay their bills? I thought this would start later in the year, but it is already happening. I'm also tired of people giving credit to Trump and his regime. They've been working on this for many years. This did not happen in 6 months. Putting the right Supreme Court together, getting the right people in there for Congress, for the Republican Party, all the things they've been doing, the rigging, the gerrymandering, etc., etc. Like this didn't happen overnight, guys and girls. Like this, ladies. This didn't happen overnight, so let's stop giving the orange man more credit than he deserves. They are an eyesore, although if it's a good rig, looks won't matter, at least not for me. Don't you think that bales of hay would be a lot cheaper? Come on, Congress, do your job and investigate this. I am an Air Force veteran, and this is ridiculous. They could just use junk cars to use as target practice, and those dumpsters cost too much money for just target practice to obliterate them. Not very smart. Exactly. Sure, it would be better use of tax money to buy the Cybertrucks and let people trade in their gas trucks for them for free. Use the old trucks for target practice and get more electrical vehicles on the road. The Cybertrucks are very dangerous. I would not recommend that. So let me know what you all think about this video. Should we be purchasing Teslas from the criminal Elon Musk to blow them up? Or are you guys... Like, do you see the logic in it? I see the logic in it, actually. I hate Elon Musk, but I can see it if they claim that the enemies might be driving around in trucks or vehicles similar to the Cybertruck. Otherwise, I don't trust it. So let me know what you all think, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.